So I have something very special to say about the second speaker. Let's welcome him. And he is Professor Sudhir Kumar Jain, and he has been my PhD supervisor, my mentor, my guide, and I've reached here because of him. So I owe all my position, this current position, to him. So let us welcome him. He is right now an adjunct faculty and former head of IIT Delhi. He has his PhD in economics from IIT Kanpur, and he's a pioneer in IPR education in the country, and he has been associated with World Intellectual Property Organization in various capacities, including tutoring of their international distance learning courses. So now if you have any doubt in direct IP, you can ask him. Sir is an expert in that area. You can also carry forward that question if you remember, MSME question and traditional knowledge. Sir will try to answer. Then he has been a member of several committees set up by the Government of India, such as IPR Education Policy Committee, National Entrepreneurship Policy Committee, MHRD Technical Committee on WTO members, etc. Regarding his publication, he has 200 research papers to his credit in international and national journals, conference proceedings, and over 25 distinguished scholars have obtained their PhD degree under his supervision. So over to you, Professor Jain.
Okay, so I think we can start now.
Yes, sir.
Are they able to see the PPT?
Yes, we are able to be.
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, so
Yes, sir, very much.
Good afternoon and welcome to all of you. What I would suggest that if you have any question at any time, please feel free to ask. Okay, unmute yourself, because in this present scenario of technology, I can see my PPT, but I can't see all of you. Okay.
They're not switching on their video. They're not switching on their video. That is the thing. In morning also we had asked them.
Yeah.
So they can write their questions in the chat box. I'll read it out to you.
Okay, you can read it out. Fine. So now I'll be giving you an introduction to all intellectual property rights, and to start with, very basic thing which we started even 25-30 years back, that what is intellectual property rights. So first, property is physical property, and which is tangible. You can see physical property, you can touch physical property, which is physical property is movable or immovable. All your belongings other than the land, building, house are your movable property. Jewelry, car, fridge, etc. Everything is movable, and land, building are immovable. Now, what is the difference between property, physical property, and intellectual property? Intellectual property, intangible. You cannot see this, you cannot touch it. So the rights on your intangible property, which is known as intellectual property, rights on intellectual property are known as intellectual property rights. And in India, the IPR term is more commonly understood than IP. IP connotes sometimes Indraprastha apartments and Indraprastha, something like that. Some colony is also known as Indraprastha colony. And different. Hello,
sir,
yes.
One minute. They are saying to put it in slide mode.
Okay.
Slideshow.
I can do the slideshow.
F5. You can press F5 on the system, or you can put that icon नीचे है ना cup की तरह.
Is it better now?
What do you say, colleagues? Hello.
It's fine now.
This is all right.
It's fine, sir. Carry on, please.
Let me also.
Somebody. Not yet. What do you mean? सर F5 प्रेस कर दीजिए. F5.
वो F5 से नहीं होता है, जब आपके उसमें होता है ना.
हाँ. सर मैंने तो.
Sir, on the right hand bottom side, you'll see slideshow icon there.
Right corner में there is a cup like structure. उसको शायद प्रेस करने से आ जाएगा.
मैम इससे पहले इनेबल कंटेंट करना होगा सर को. अब आएगा.
अभी. Yes. I think it's okay.
Okay, sir.
हो गया
Sir,
ना?
No, this
हाँ,
is.
हो गया.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. My audible also? I am audible or थोड़ा increase करूँ मैं इसको? Should I increase my?
I think it's fine.
It's loud and clear, sir. It's very much loud and clear.
Thank you.
और थोड़ा
Yes,
सा
sir. ठीक है sir.
चलो. Okay. Is it fine? Better now?
Yes, sir.
More audible?
Everything is clear. You can carry on.
Now, so I said that your physical property is something which is tangible. You can see, you can touch, you can if it is movable, you can move the physical property. If it is immovable, like in land and building, but you can see your house, you can see your land, you can see the building which is immovable. So this is the concept of physical property. But intellectual property is something which you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot physically lift it anywhere, and that is intangible. So intellectual property is created by intellectuals, and the rights of intellectuals are known as intellectual property rights. And intellectual property rights, IPRs, is a better understood term in India than IP. Internationally, we say IP, everybody understands intellectual property. But when we say IP, people connote that Indraprastha apartments or Indraprastha or IP, they go back to Mahabharata days and, Lord Krishna's days. So that is how there is a difference. Now, the major forms of intellectual property rights are patent. Patent is for invention. Anything what you invent. If you invent, say, a pen drive was invented for the first time. So pen drive was a patented product. Before that, the CDs were invented. CDs were the patented product. Before that, a floppy disk used to be there, 2 inch by 2 inch or 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch. That was a patented product. Before that, it was a long, bigger size floppy used to be there. Each time there is something new invention which comes in the market. First the PCs were not there. PCs came up. PCs after PCs, the laptop came up. After laptop, this notebook has come up. All these are the inventions. So patent is for invention. So invention can be for a full product, or it can be an incremental, that is some addition in the present product which improves the quality of the product, functionality of the product, etc. So patent is for invention. So my purpose in this slide is that all of you should be very clear about these different forms of intellectual property and intellectual property rights. Because if you have undergone a good course from a good university like Shiv Nadar University, you should be absolutely clear about these basic concepts. So patent is granted. You apply for grant of a patent, and patent is granted. On the other hand, the industrial design, trademark, etc., I'll come to each one of them. You apply for their registration. They are registered. Okay, so granted and registered is something which is different for patents and other IPRs. So patents are for inventions. It should be very clear to all people, everybody, that patents are for inventions. Then industrial designs. What is industrial design? It is the terminology given is industrial design, and it refers to any kind of design which is prepared through industrial system. Manufacturing design. You have a cup or a mug for drinking coffee. Now this mug is of different shapes and designs. The purpose is to have a coffee in this and drink, but it may have different types of shapes and designs. So the industrial design of product is how the particular design of the product appeals to your eyes. The main reference is eyes. When you look at it, it is more appealing. You don't like to have coffee, year after year after year, all the, for 10 years, 20 years, the same shape and design of a mug. You like to change. That is the human tendency. So industrial design is on its physical appearance, how it appeals to your eyes. Now, third is the trademark. Trademark is the name by which a particular product is known. Lux, Pierce, Surf, Nirma, Coca-Cola. Okay, these are the different Godrej. These are the different trademarks. So all the products are known by their trademark, and trademark is something which is renewable forever. Okay, you get a trademark registered, and you start advertising your product. When you advertise your product, your trademark becomes more and more well known. And when over a period of time, if more people start buying your product uh, because of its quality, its total sales increases, and from you move out of your own city where you are, as a small entrepreneur, you start. So most of the MNCs started as small enterprises. From small, you graduate to medium, medium to large, and large to MNC, multinational corporation. So it is true for almost all MNCs. They all started as a small unit. So what is McDonald? McDonald is a burger. Everybody knows a big M is written. When a big M is written, you can see that from a long distance, you will find some McDonald good quality burger. So this is a trademark. And when small entrepreneurs start from their own small city, then they go to the region or the state or the province, then the product becomes so well known in their entire country. Then you start exporting, and the product becomes so well known in the other countries, and then the entire world. Like Coca-Cola is practically known in almost all countries in the world. So Coca-Cola is something you like to have. There are two drinks. One is 15 rupees for a bottle of Coke. Other is 12 rupees for a bottle which is not Coca-Cola, which is a Mona-Cola. Will you like to drink Mona-Cola or Coca-Cola? Tell me. So, that is the purpose of trademark. The by which a product is known. Copyright. Copyright is what you write. It can be story, poem. It can be, a novel. It can be something else. So that is the copyright. You get the copyright on what you write. You get the copyright even on a photograph you click. You get the photograph. You get the copyright on, uh, a painting you make. And that is why in so many museums where the paintings are there, they don't allow you to take a photograph, because they say this is very, after taking the photograph, you can also try to make a similar kind of a painting. So that would amount to infringement of their copyright. Then layout designs of integrated circuits. So that is also something which is useful and important IPR. Uh, most of the electronic products have got integrated circuits, and the layout design of the integrated circuits is protected under the law. Now, trade secrets. Trade secrets are secrets. It is said that Coca-Cola's formula is very secretive for over past 100 years. Nobody knows how exactly it is made, and that is the reason Coca-Cola is the most sold soft drink among the cola drinks. So, the Coca-Cola, if you have got a large number of people that they would like to have Coca-Cola over other cola drinks. Why? Because it has got a special taste, special, it gives a special satisfaction which other drinks don't give. Other drinks are not exactly like Coca-Cola. So, like patent, you can protect your invention for 20 years. But for trade secret, if you can afford to keep your secret a secret, you can keep the secret for more than 20 years, maybe 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. So that is the concept of trade secret. Plant varieties. Plant varieties are the new varieties of different type of plants which are grown by the farmers. They, over the period of time, all the farmers and other inventors in the agriculture sector have been doing research, and say like there used to be shortage of wheat, shortage of food grains, and people used to die of hunger because there was a internationally there was shortage of food grains. Now in 1960s, the green revolution came. The background of the green revolution was high yielding variety seeds. So high yielding variety seeds was a new plant variety for growing, more grains, food grains. So high yielding variety seeds for wheat, which was there, and other crops. So this is the plant varieties for which the inventors get the protection. Geographical indication is something, a product is grown at a place or produced at a place, and it has a special quality. Alfonso mango. Okay. So Darjeeling tea. These are the geographical indications. When a tea is sold under the name Darjeeling tea, people are willing to pay higher price. So the say Lipton's Darjeeling tea, which is earlier known as Lipton Green Level tea, now they call it Lipton Darjeeling tea. So this tea is maybe 500 to 800% more expensive than other tea. So you get a higher price for a higher quality product, which is protected under Geographical Indications Act. Now, the last of intellectual property is traditional knowledge. Traditional knowledge is again intellectual property, but you don't get an intellectual property right on this because this intellectual property is already known. It is traditionally known, like turmeric. So turmeric is something which is already known, and you can use it. It is an intellectual property. Turmeric used for wound healing, but you cannot get patent because it is already known. You get patent on invention. Invention is something which is new in character. So any questions on this aspect, please feel free to ask me. Any question on this? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Then I move further. Now,
Hello.
this is, you see a camera.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Can you go to the first slide?
Yes.
Sir, my question is with reference to geographical identification.
Indications.
As you have, indications,
Yeah.
as you have mentioned that IP rights are particularly related with any product or any process or something like that. But here, in case of geographical indications, you are giving actually IP right to any product, or any product is being manufactured or it is being produced on any one particular location. So, for example,
Yes.
all the people, for example, just now you have talked about Alfonso mango.
Mm.
So whoever is growing Alfonso mango in one particular area, they all will be categorized under this geographical indications, and they
Yes.
all will be getting the benefit.
Yes. You cannot call any other mango as Alfonso mango. The same producer, suppose there is one Mr. Ratan from Ratnagiri area. So Mr. Ratan is producing Alfonso mango as well as 3 other varieties of mangoes. He can pack only Alfonso mango as the Alfonso mango, but not other 3 varieties which he is growing. He is the same producer, but he is growing 3 varieties of mangoes, only one of which is Alfonso mango. So now I'll tell you that all these things will come in more detail, and some of these things on which their full sessions are there in next 4 days. I can have a 10-hour session with you, but I think I would like to give, I would not like to preempt those people who will be coming and talking on these issues like trademark and geographical indications. So if all the things are done now, then I will not be able to cover my full thing, what I plan to do. And, you know, uh, uh, so can I request you to, hold on to some of these detailing you can, I say I've been teaching this course. So I initiated this course in 1990s when people did not know much about the IPRs. So I can take on your questions continually for 5 hours, 10 hours, any number of hours. Okay. But I think I should also do justice to the time given to me.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is,
Another person,
yeah.
Veer Pratap. So there's another person who's raising hand. Yes, Mr. Veer Pratap.
No, ma'am, I have already asked.
Okay,
Acha.
okay. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
Now, see, there is a camera in which camera the shutter has got a patent on shutter, because shutter tells you the speed of the, the exposure and the duration of exposure and all that thing. So shutter has got a patent. The Canon, it is written Canon, that is the trademark. The instruction manual would be copyrighted the way you should use your camera. So the instruction manual is copyrighted, and the physical look of the camera is the industrial design. So you can get a copyright for instruction manual. You can get trademark for the way you are writing Canon and the word Canon. The design is the way its outlook. Other camera producers cannot make this kind of a design of a camera. And patent is for the shutter, the technology with which you are using the shutter. Okay, so one product will have implications for different intellectual property rights. So these are the IPR legislations: the Patents Act 1970, the Trademarks Act 1999, the Copyright Act 1957, the Designs Act 2000, the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act 2001, the Semiconductor Integrated Circuits Layout Designs Act 2000, and the Geographical Indication of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999. The two supporting legislations are the Biological Diversity Act 2002 and Information Technology Act 2000. And trade secret, there is no legislation. Very briefly, in India, the invention protection system was there, which was not known as the protection of patent. It was Act 6 of 1856, which protected the inventions, and it was based on the British law of 1852. Then in 1859, Act 15 of Patent Monopolies. In this, it protected the invention. Then 1872, the Patents and Designs Protection Act. 1883, the Protection of Inventions Act. 1808 was consolidated as the Inventions and Designs Act. 1888. So these were the invention protection systems. Then the Indian patent system in 1911, Indian Patents and Designs Act 1911 was the first one which used Indian patents and designs put together in the form of a act called the Indian Patents and Designs Act. After that, after independence, we modified the act and we called the Patents Act 1970. So the Patents Act 1970 was revised a couple of times in 1999, 2002, 2005, and so present act would have all these amendments in it. These are some of the important patents: adding machine and calculator, computer. You can see the increase in the inventiveness from adding machine to calculator, electronic calculator. The adding machine, I don't know how many of you know it. You Google search, it is a facet machine. It used to do like this, and then rotations couple of times, and then it gives the total additions of even 15-digit numbers you can add. If you have to add say GDP of all the states in the country, so GDP addition will be very long digits and all that. So you can do all that thing very fast. So calculator, computer, automobiles, printing press. All of us are educated due to printing press. Otherwise, we would have been not educated to the extent we are now in the world. Lamp, incandescent bulb, or lamp is the normal bulb. Elevator. We have been living in so many high-rise buildings, and offices are in high-rise building. This is all possible with the elevators. Then fertilizers. So, because the fertilizer invention, people are not dying of hunger. We have been able to produce more food grains, more vegetables, more fruits, everything more in quantity to meet the needs and requirements of the entire world population. lock, radio, air conditioning, anesthesia. Entire surgery is possible with the anesthesia. Otherwise, all that medical advances would not have been possible. Camera, instant photography, motion pictures. Motion pictures, how many millions of people are engaged and employed and earn their livelihood through the motion picture industry? Bollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood, etc., etc. Telephone, now mobile and all that, telegraph, television, typewriter. Sewing machine, again one very important invention. Sewing machine, all that fashion, how many people are engaged in the textile fashion industry? You know, millions of people, crores of people are engaged in this worldwide. So these are so important inventions. Now I'll give you an example of a very worthy, commercially worthy patent. You have this beverage can, Coke can, Pepsi can, beer can. This is a ring pull technology which was not good in 40s and 50s, but it got perfected in 80s. And this ring pull technology, it is estimated that 160 million cans are being opened per day. And the royalty is very small, zero point 0.1 penny per unit. That means about 80-90 paisa per can. And with one, multiply that with 160 million cans per day. So per day, royalty of the inventor is more than 1 crore rupees per day. More than 1 crore rupees per day. So that is how, look at it, 365 or 400 crore rupees per year. So in 10 years, you have 4,000 crore rupees. So uh, when I talk to you on Monday, I'll talk to you about the how the invention by the SMEs can be done. Now IPRs, patents. What is a patent? Patent is the right on first disclosure of an invention. You have to disclose your invention for the first time through a patent application. And if you publish in the newspapers and it becomes known to people, you will not get the patent on this, because patent is the right you get on first disclosure of an invention through the patent application form. So once you file a patent application, after that you can disclose it, but not before that. Some people in India are very enthusiastic in telling others their achievements, and their achievement they say, yeah, I have invented this, I have done this. So they lose the novelty, because the conditions of patentability are novelty. It should be something new, novel. So novelty should be worldwide. So the most important criterion is novelty, worldwide novelty. Something which is available in any other country, if you want to do the same patent in India, you cannot file a patent application because it is already known. Novelty is not there. Second condition is non-obvious. It should be inventive in character. Okay, inventive ingenuity should be there. And third is that it should be useful. Now there are some examples. A bag with 200 pockets.
Miss Lata, can you please mute your mic, Miss Lata?
So a bag with 200 pockets, is it patentable or not? In the market, it is not available. With 4, 5, 6, 8 pockets, it is available, but with 200 pockets, do you get a bag in the market? Novelty is there, yes or no? Your novelty is there. Usefulness, a 200 pocket bag will be maybe useful for some people, but what about the inventiveness? A bag with 200 pockets is not adequately inventive. A tailor can keep on putting more and more pockets, 10 pockets, 12 pockets, 15 pockets, 20 pockets, 50 pockets, 100 pockets, 200 pockets, 500 pockets. So it is not inventive in character. If you join two pencils together by Fevicol, so it is again, it is obvious. And what about the explorer of mouse? When it was invented, we had a lot of difficulty in surfing the PC. So the mouse became a very good invention, and the scroller of the mouse with a central which you can scroll the mouse here and there, it became very useful. What about it? Trouser for three-legged person. It is novelty. It is not obvious. Somebody thought of a trouser for three-legged person. What is the industrial application or utility? Are there people with 3 legs? Is there any person with 3 legs? So utility is not there. So you will not get a patent for a trouser invented by you for a three-legged person. A pen with 8 color refills. Okay, a pen drive. So these are the things, something when it came for the first time, it was patentable. Why, what is the patent means? You are on monopoly up to 20 years. You can note that up to, not for 20 years, but up to 20 years. So the purpose of giving the monopoly is knowledge generation, stimulation of creativity, to facilitate technology transfer, because if you have patent, you can transfer your technology under a license to anyone. Then benefits to the people from the new invention. When AC was not there, people used to live in the warm environment. But with the AC, your efficiency goes up. If you have got AC on in summers, you can work more effectively and more efficiently. The car, when the car was not there, people used to go by horse cart. You could not go too far away. There was very much limitation. So the invention of car gave you something, a better quality of life. So many pharmaceutical products, new inventions. Now so much of research is being done on COVID vaccine. So all the benefits to the people with the new inventions. Now most inventions are results of intended expensive R&D nowadays. In earlier days, scientists used to do inventions which was not, a very dedicated scientist used to be there who used to do inventions. But now there are thousands of people in R&D department of big MNCs. They are engaged in research, and billions of dollars are spent by the companies, and good R&D is done by more R&D people, very well paid R&D scientists, engineers who are uh, hired in large numbers by multinational corporations. So maybe several thousand R&D people are coming out with some new inventions. So a company has already spent several $billion. So when some invention is there, which is commercially worthy, they would like to make enough money uh, to recover the investment already made in R&D by these people. So that is the purpose. Now, government gives monopoly through the patenting system to the inventors or the companies which have filed patent applications, which are the owners of the patent. Now, monopoly is considered good or bad? Monopoly is considered bad. Okay. In economics, we say monopoly is bad. Perfect competition is good. So government gives monopoly to encourage new inventions, but government discourages the monopoly by two methods. One is discouragement of continuation of monopoly through maintenance of patents annually. You have to maintain your patent. You have to renew your patent every year. So every year when you have to make a renewal application for your patent, then after 5 years you feel it is not worthy of maintaining the patent anymore. So what you do, you stop maintaining the patent after 5 years, or after 8 years you feel that now new inventions have been there, new inventions are there. So these new inventions will be there, and the old inventions, they are, those products are not being sold. So when they are not being sold, then what will happen? The people will not buy it. So you stop renewing the earlier patents, because the newer version of the products are sold in the market. So annually you have to patent renewal of the patent every year. Second way of discouragement of continuation of monopoly is progressive maintenance fee structure for maintaining your patent or renewal of your patent. So I'll show you the exact amounts in India and other countries also. For the first 5 years, you pay X amount. In the second 5 years, you pay 2X amount. In the next 5 years, you pay 3X amount. In the next 5 years, in 20 years, you pay 5X amount for renewal of the patent. So it becomes 5 times I'll give you the exact figures very soon in the next slides. Now, there are certain inventions which are not patentable. That is something which is contrary to laws of nature, contrary to law, morality, or injurious to public health. Discovery of living or non-living substances occurring in the nature, mere discovery of scientific principle or formulation of abstract theory, a mathematical or business method, or a computer program per se, or algorithms. So these computer programs are copyrightable but not patentable. That is the Indian law. Even other countries, the only algorithms are not patentable. If you have only some algorithm for some calculation, it is copyrightable. Now, what are the privileges to the public? If you want to use the patent of anyone, you have to take license for using a patent. But two categories are exempted. For further R&D purpose, you can make the product in your lab or in your own, enterprise premises in your R&D department for doing further R&D. Second purpose, suppose I am teaching and for imparting instruction to the pupils. That means to my students, I can say that this is something made and I can give the demonstration. I'll give a very simple example. Suppose you go back to the history when people used to sit on the floor only, and first time somebody thought if you can have some kind of a, 4 legs and a platform, that is stool, and one person invented a stool. So stool was invented. Now people started sitting from on the floor, then also on the stool. So some people said that when you come from somewhere, sitting on the floor with the shoes is more difficult. So you can sit on the stool. So in my lab, I made 10 stools and said how you can make sitting on a stool more comfortable. So I have made 10 stools for further R&D purpose. So this further R&D purpose, I can make those tools, but I cannot sell the tools in the market. It is only for further R&D. So then my R&D people in my company, they said the tool can be made more comfortable if you put a back support on this. So the idea was accepted, and then we made different type of back support, and then a patent was filed, a stool with back support, and we call it chair. Which a patent for chair was filed. Now this patent was on chair was filed. So your company is making stools, or you are a furniture company. You made 10 stools and 10 chairs, and then you said, can it be more comfortable? So some people with brainstorming and all that, they said, if you put 2 arms in the chair and call it armchair, so you file a patent for armchair for that, your claim is for the arms. My claim was for the back support on the stool. So that is how the claims are there, and we get protection for our claim. So nobody can make a stool with the back support because my patent is on chair, that is a back support for a stool. And so if I have to sell my stool with back support, that means a chair, I have to take a license from the inventor of the stool. So that is known as cross licensing. And the person who made arms, you made the arms on the chair and you called it armchair. If you have to sell the armchair, your patent of armchair, that is the arms in the chair, that is dependent on my patent of back support on the stool, which made it chair. And further, your this patent is also dependent on the patent of the stool. So stool, the backrest of the stool called chair, and then is your patent. So you have to take license from me as well as from the patent holder of stool. So what license you take is, you have to take cross license. This is known as cross licensing. So you have to take license from the inventor of the thing whose invention is still protected. Once you complete 20 years, it is in public domain. That means the inventor, if we he cannot renew after 20 years. So what you do, it becomes in, so suppose it comes in public domain. So suppose the stool's patent is over, and I file my patent application for chair after 5 years. So up to 15 years, if the patent of a stool is being renewed, my patent of chair, I'll have to take cross license from him for 15 years. After that, it is in the public domain. So I don't have to take any license. So this is the concept of cross licensing. Now there are certain limitations in our India's Patent Act, that is the Patent Act 1970. We have given a compulsory license provision. That is, if any product is made in the interest of larger public, then the government can give a compulsory license to the person who wants to produce. And this would be the case when the original patent holder is selling the product which is very, very expensive, or his licensing terms are very, very unfavorable. Suppose with COVID, the death rate increases to say 10%, and vaccine is there which is being sold in 1 lakh rupees per vaccine. Now because it has got billions of dollars of R&D expenditure. Now, as per our Patent Act, the government of India can give a license to any one of us or any pharmaceutical company who would like to make the vaccine and sell at a reasonable, affordable price to the all masses. And suppose instead of 1 lakh rupees, you are selling it in 100 rupees. So 10% or 15% can be fixed as the license fee, which you will give to the patent holder of COVID vaccine. So this is the concept of compulsory license. This was opposed a lot by the international community, that means other developed countries. But we insisted that we will keep such a provision in our Patent Act. And government can use any patent and give some license fee for the nation, in the national interest, for example, for defense. If a patent is not a working patent, that means if nobody using that patent for say 4 or 5 years, I don't remember exactly, I think 4 years or 5 years, then anyone can apply for revocation of such patent which is a non-working patent. Then suppose someone has a smaller enterprise, SME, small and medium enterprise, there is only one person who was aware of the patent filing and patent systems and all that. So what happens now, that suppose that person leaves your company's job and joins some other job, other company which gives him, instead of 30,000 rupees per month, other company gives him 45,000 rupees per month. So he has gone with 50% hike. So now one patent which your company had filed, that was to be renewed in next 1 month. He left and you did not have much idea, you are the entrepreneur. So the patent was not renewed in time. So it is no more valid patent. It lapses because you have not renewed it for the next year. So less patents, so the law provides provision for restoration of less patents. Now the less patent restoration is not a matter of your right. It is your request. An application can be made for restoration of your less patent. And once you make an application, and you have to also say that why the lapse was there. So with that kind of a thing, if it is genuine, if it is considered genuine, then the patent office will accept your request and restore your patent. Sometime back it happened, about 7, 8 years, 6, 7 years back. One patent which was filed by IIT Delhi, for 4, 5 years was being renewed, and it was only we were paying renewal fee, and when the renewal fee was increasing also, so it was decided that let us not continue this patent, let us not continue paying the renewal fee. Then after 3 months, somebody came with an inquiry, I am interested in this patent, I would take the license. He did not know that patent has not been renewed. So then IIT Delhi applied to the patent office for restoration of the left patent and saying that now there is an inquiry. Now for inquiry, that means it was a not a less unknowingly or thing reason beyond your control. It was a deliberately you did not renew and now you want to restore. It is not possible. It will not be allowed. Okay. Then patent filing in foreign countries, there is a traditional system. You can file a patent application within 12 months in any other country. So each country's patent office will have to go for a patent search, which Dr. Pawar will be giving you a session on patent search. How do you search the patents tomorrow? And then multiple publications. Each country will have to do the publications of the patent search, the multiple examinations and prosecutions of applications. Suppose you have filed your patent application in 20 countries. So within 1 year, you have to file your application in 20 countries in multiple languages, and you have to pay fee in all those 20 countries and all that. So this is the system of traditional system of filing within 12 months of your date of filing in your own country. That is local filing. Then within 12 months, you can file in any other country. Now there is a new system. The new system is under Patent Cooperation Treaty. The Patent Cooperation Treaty system or the PCT system is that you can file your PCT application within 12 months of your filing locally. If you have filed it, suppose today is 10th October. So by next year, 9th October, up to 9th October 2021, you can file a PCT application. It is very popularly known as PCT application. Technically it is not PCT application, PCT is Patent Cooperation Treaty. It is the patent application under Patent Cooperation Treaty system. But it is, in practically it is known as PCT application for all practical purposes. So you file a PCT application claiming your priority of the patent from the date of your filing in your own country. Now, once you file a PCT application in one of the offices, which are about, there are about 13 offices in the world which are good patent offices. They have been designated as the PCT application receiving patent offices in the world. India is also one of them. So you can file your patent application in one country, and then that country will do the international search and all other requirements will be met. And after that, within next 20 to 30 months, you can file a patent in all countries, whichever you want. So maximum is 30 months. 30 months means instead of 12 months, you have 30 months. That is 2.5 years. What is happening nowadays? Big MNCs are having several thousand R&D people. The number of patent applications they are filing goes up to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So 7,000 patent applications by one company in 1 year. So many applications, what will happen? That every day they are filing 20, 30, 40 patent applications. Now, what the normal system is, whatever you do today, you file a patent application on basis of that tomorrow. So, this is not a final and full invention. So your full invention will come, suppose after 355 patents, your 356 patent is something which is very tangible. So you may be filing 355 patents, but these 355 patents, you are not interested in getting them examined or filing them in all other countries. 355th patent you would like to file in other countries also. So 356 patent. So 355 patents, within 12 months you did not know whether to file patent application about these 355 patents. But within 30 months, you are sure that 355 patent applications need not be filed in other countries. So what do? You save your money, you save your headache, you save your botheration, you save the hassles of getting it translated into so many languages in which so many countries will accept patent applications. So there is a concept of filing your patent application in other countries, because you get protection of your patent only in those countries where your patent has been granted. And for getting a patent granted in any country, you have to file a patent application in that country. So that application you can file within 30 months and you can get a patent. But the patents, as per the Paris Convention, valid from your original date of filing your own country. So this is the advantage of PCT system of filing patent application in other countries. These are, can you see this thing? The number of patent applications filed in 2018 by China was 15 lakh, 15 lakh applications, 1.5 million. USA filed 5.97 lakhs, that is nearly 6 lakh applications. Japan filed 3.13 lakh applications. Korea, Republic of Korea, South Korea filed 2.09 lakh applications. European Patent Office 1.74 lakh applications. Germany 67,000 applications. India 50,000 applications, and like Russian Federation 37,000. So this is something which is very, very important knowledge. 3 slides are there on this. I've removed others. Now, innovations in the Republic of Korea continue to file the highest number of patents per unit of GDP. Now, per 100 billion US dollar of GDP, the South Korea is filing 8,561 patents. China is filing per 100 billion GDP 6,183 patents. Japan 5,000 patents. Germany 1,924 patents. Switzerland 1831, USA 1565, and so on. This is something which tells you about the idea of the importance of South Korea. Now you realize with this particular how the Samsung, Hyundai, all these companies are so how much R&D they are doing, how much patent they are filing worldwide. This is US based inventors filed the greatest number of PCT patent applications in 2018. So PCT applications by US was 56,000, China 53,000, Japan 49,000, Germany 19,000, Korea 17,000, France 7,000, UK 5,600 something. So that is how this gives that the number of PCT applications. These are the indicators by which you know that what is the patent filing in different countries. A single company, the Huawei Technologies of China filed 5,405 PCT applications in 2018. ZTE filed 2,080 applications. BOE Technology filed, all 3 Chinese companies. Among the US companies, Intel filed 2,499 PCT applications. Qualcomm filed 2,404 PCT applications. South Korea. Samsung Electronics filed 1,997 PCT application. LG Electronics filed 1,697. Mitsubishi Electric of Japan filed 2,812 applications, PCT applications. Sweden's Ericsson filed 1,645. Bosch of Germany filed 1,524 PCT applications. So I think these slides are giving you a lot of good information about who filed how much the thing. These are the types of patents. There can be product patent or process patent. Product, the patents, process or product, they protect inventions. So product invention or process invention. a method of reducing noise in telephone calls. This will be a product patent. Now, the a plant patent is protects the new variety of plants, flowers, fruits, shrubs, vines, uh, uh, produce asexually, the new variety of tea plant, the design patent. Now, the design patent, what we call design in India, in and so many other countries, industrial design or design, they are registered. But in USA, historically, they call it design patent. So the application number which starts with D is for design and not for invention. So when you go through any American patent or USA patent, see the number. If the number starts with D, it will be a design. If it is not starting with D, it will be something on invention. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes. So I'll go ahead. These are the, patent application looks like this, some bibliographic details, representative drawings, and this I'm not going to describe it. These are, given the who is the inventor, who is the patent title, inventors, assignee, owner, etc., etc. This is for the American application of the patent. Okay, so you can see in one patent application, the front page gives you so much of information, first 2 pages. Now, in India, if you want to file a patent application, there are different types of forms, and the first schedule fees is there, which gives the fees. Application for grant of patent is form number 1. Provisional or complete specification form number 2. Then statement of undertaking under section 8, form 3. Request for extension of time, form number 4. So these are different forms. You can go through it. Form 10, application for amendment of patent. You have filed a patent application, you want to amend it, and so on. 10 to 19, then 20 to 30. So application for revision of terms and conditions of license, request for termination of composite license. All these are different forms are there. Different, the purpose of, so you have to file out of these 30 forms. You have to choose the correct form for applying for patent application or any of the associated requests related to the patent. The purpose of filing and the e-filing fee. Now, India was in fact, we should feel proud about it. India was the first country to start accepting online patent applications. So e-filing started in the world by India's patent office for the first time. We were the first in this respect. So e-filing fee for initial patent application is 1,600 rupees for any individual. Any individual is known as natural person, a person. If it is small or medium enterprise, micro, small or medium enterprise or similar body, then you pay 4,000 rupees for the initial filing application fee. If it is large scale company or multinational corporation MNC, you pay 8,000 rupees as the initial patent filing fee. Now, we filed about 50,000 patent applications in 2018. One thing you should all and we should all understand that after patent applications filed, who will examine the patent application? The patent examiner in the patent office. Now, earlier in 1970s, we were filing anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 patent applications per year. So the patent office had the requirement of patent application examination, and the number of patent examiners was accordingly that much. Now from 1995, WTO onwards, and this internet becoming easily available everywhere, the globalization system picked up. So patent searches become easily possible. Online patent search became easy and available. So, and after WTO, the international competition increased. Those who were filing 500 patent applications, they started filing 5,000 applications. Now, as I told you, suppose 355 patent applications are something of, half-baked patent, which is not final product or something. 356th application is something tangible and commercializable. So the company would not be interested in actual examination of 355 patent applications, but the 355 applications are there in the system. So around 2008, 12, 13 years back, the patent office came up with a new system of examining the patent application. So if a patent application filed by paying the 1600 rupees by a normal natural person, or 4000 rupees by the small medium enterprise, or large scale enterprise 8000 rupees, if you have to necessarily request for examination, otherwise your application will not be examined, because we were having long queue. The patent grant period had increased to 7 years. So what happened that the Indian Patents Office modified the system that those who want a request, you have to request for examination of patent application. So a company which had say 355 applications, they will not request for examination. They will request for examination of only 356th application. So the number of patent applications for which request for examination was submitted came down substantially. So the pending, the patent application pending reduced substantially, and the patent grant period reduced from 7 years to about 2.5 to 3 years. So that is the concept of request for examination, which is started about 12, 13 years back. So this is the, see, now natural person pays 4,000 rupees for request for examination. Medium small enterprises pay 10,000 rupees. Large scale enterprises pay 20,000 rupees for request for examination. Now, request for expedited examination, you want something very quickly to be examined. This amount, 4,000 becomes 8,000, 10,000 becomes 25,000, 20,000 becomes 60,000. So it is 2 times, here it is 3 times. Now request for conversion of A to B, again 4,000, 15,000, 40,000, the difference between the 3 minus 2 is the number 4. Now annual patent renewal. First and second year there is no, because you get a patent granted only in the third year, fourth year, whatever it is. So first 2 years there is no patent renewal system. For third, fourth, fifth, sixth, for 4 years, the patent renewal fee is this 800. From this 400, it became, this is renewal fee is 800. It is 2,000. It is 4,000. And from the further, from 7th to 10th year, 800 becomes 2,400 3 times. 2,000 becomes 6,000. 4,000 becomes 12,000 3 times. Again 4 years. Then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. These 5 years, it becomes 24 multiplied by 4. Multiplied by 2, 4,800. This is multiplied by 2, 12,000. This is multiplied by 2, 24,000. Now 16th to 20th year. This is 8,000, 20,000, 40,000. This 8,000 is this 8,000, 20,000, and 40,000. This so this is the annual renewal fee. Now, if you want to renew in the 16th, 17th, 18th, or 19th, or 20th year, your patent renewal fee is very high. And if you want to oppose anybody's patent, it will be this much. Now, there is a concept of patent agent. So, patent agent related fee, the patent office, India's patent office, And when we say patent office, that means the Office of Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademark. I'll repeat, when we say patent office, it means technically the Office of the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademark. But we don't speak that big always, we say patent office. Patent office means that. So patent office conducts an examination nowadays almost annually, but earlier it used to be done sometimes after 2-3 years gap, sometimes after 4-5 years gap and all that. But now, almost for past couple of years, a patent agent examination is being conducted on annual basis. For appearing the examination, you pay 1,600 rupees. After you qualify the examination, there are 2 papers followed by an, some kind of an interview. First paper is general on IPRs. Second paper is on patent claim drafting. So these 2 written papers with 50% marks you get in both the papers to qualify for getting the interview call. You get in interview call also you get more than 50%. Then you become a, you qualify to be a patent agent. Now you can practice as patent agent after paying the patent agent registration fee of 3,200 rupees, and which has to be renewed every year by paying 800 rupees. This is the concept of patent agent. Another thing about patent agent, you should be a science or technology graduate. So most of the patent attorneys, big patent attorney firms who employ about 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 100, even 100 plus attorneys or a number of professionals in their patent attorney firm, they engage at least 1/3 or half of them would be patent agents. So patent agents are technical people who prepare the patent application, and in the patent application, the patent application, the claims which are drafted by the patent agent, they are fine-tuned by the patent attorney, who is highly skilled person in getting you a better protection, because that becomes a legal matter that the opponents or anybody who is trying to use your patent, your invention, should not be able to use your invention, so that they try to get you the best protection on your invention. So this is the concept of patent agent. R&D is for continuous improvement in products, which solves our need more effectively through improvement in quality, reliability, performance, ease of operation, cost reduction, addition of more features, etc. I don't know how many of you have heard of slide rule. Slide rule was a product by which moving this, this indicator here and there are 4-5 lanes. It was for calculations, and up to 1970s, the electronic calculators, in early 1970s, the electronic calculator used to be anywhere from 5,000-10,000 rupees, like that. This simple calculator, 5 to 10,000 rupees. So it was very expensive. So all engineering students doing BE or BTech had to buy this slide rule as and take it to their college, engineering college, every day almost, for all the calculations they were required to do. This was the concept of slide rule. Then came the normal electronic calculators, then laptop, notebook, desktop, notebook. There was a blood pressure machine which had some kind of a, you had to use a stethoscope also. The 2 things together would give you the, one could measure the BP. But nowadays, this single system will give you higher and lower in the digital format. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this kind of a new type of a this blood pressure BP measuring instrument. So this is the BP instrument which gives you the low and high limits. It is said that 80% of scientific and technical information is available only in patents and not elsewhere. So in past, reverse engineering was common. Patent system was not that effective, but now present and future, you can do only selective reverse engineering, but you need to know the basics of IPRs, particularly the patents. The intended product or any of its components should not be under patent in your country. Then only you can do reverse engineering. If you are, uh, you know, these are some of the, when you say patent awards, in the US, patent award means if any company infringes patent of other company, how much it costs you, either in the legal system or even after legal system, before the court is about to announce the, patent infringement liabilities or damages to you, the two companies go for some kind of a out of court settlement. So how much a company had to spend totally on the legal battle and this payment to the company whose patent was infringed by a company. So Microsoft infringed a patent of Alcatel-Lucent in 2007, and the total cost Microsoft had to pay for this infringement was 1.52 billion US dollar. The software patent. Then Kodak. Nowadays, Kodak is not so well known, but 20, 30 years back, Kodak was a film for all cameras. Cameras are not digital. They used to be camera roll. We used to clip some photographs. So Kodak had infringed a patent of Polaroid. Polaroid was the first company which gave the instant photograph by camera. So the Eastman Kodak, it was for the chemical process. The total, it costed them $873 million. And so like Intel to digital and so many such things. Reverse engineering strategy in today's scenario would be find out new patents with potential commercial application. Start patent search. You have a session tomorrow on patent search. Find out validity of the patent, that is also given. If it is in public domain, it costs you nothing, else you seek the technology transfer. So these are some of the patent sites. Tomorrow you will have more details of this thing. Tomorrow first session. IP promotion strategy for academia. Now in IP promotion strategy for academia, just 1 minute.
Sir, would you like to take a break? Hello?
No. I just wanted to drink water, but I found the bottle was already on my table.
ओके नहीं सर आई एम सेइंग मैं कह रही हूँ आप ब्रेक ले लो इनसे कुछ इंटरेक्शन कर लो यू हैव बीन टॉकिंग सो लॉन्ग
ये एकेडमिया की स्ट्रेटेजी के बाद में कर लेते हैं ब्रेक
ओके सर somebody is asking for previous slide
ये लो previous slide previous ये वाला और पहले वाला
हाँ किसे चाहिए who wants it somebody is written in the chat window that previous slide
तो स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेगा ना वो इसका let him or her take the screenshot.
Mr. Veer Pratap.
No, myself it was Sabita. Thank you, sir. This is which I wanted.
Okay.
Take the screenshot.
Yes, okay. I have taken. Thank you.
She's taken. She's taken.
Yeah. So for IP promotion strategy for academia, it is 3 slides, 1x3, 2x3, 3x3. So how the IPR promotion strategy for academia, there should be a course on IPR. Now, I think I can just very briefly, maybe in 2 minutes, I'll tell you that way back in 1991-92, the Narasimha Rao government had allocated very, liberally the funds for 5 technology mission areas. And the idea was that all the professors in IITs and ISC Bangalore apparently, claiming to be the best technology institution in the country, they should do joint research and come out with, new research, new inventions, and new patents, which should be internationally protected. The patent application should be filed worldwide, and then the patent should be commercialized, and the commercialization will give so much of revenue to the Indian system that those 5 crore rupees on 5 technology mission areas, 25 crore rupees, will get several hundred crore rupees revenue through licensing, and India will have a leadership in the technology field, new emerging technology field. So uh, all IITs were given this responsibility, IITs and IISc Bangalore, please do joint research in these areas, and so much of money has been made available. Now, at that time, Delhi has a particular, closeness to the ministries and all that. So the pressure on Dean of R&D of IIT Delhi, the pressure on him was very high. You do take the policy, make the policy, and do something. So the dean was from electronics department. He said, "Wait, electronics में तो IPR का ये सब आता नहीं है. We can file a patent application, but we don't." So he said कि somebody from the management department should conduct a workshop on IPRs. So I was asked to conduct a workshop on IPRs for all IIT Delhi professors. So this workshop I conducted. At that time, I did not know much, and at that time, practically, except the lawyers, most people did not know much about the patents. So I conducted a workshop in 1992. Then other deans of other IITs asked Dean of R&D of IIT Delhi, okay, you have done workshop for yourselves. Do one. We will all come from all other IITs, and IISc Bangalore will come to IIT Delhi, and you conduct one more workshop. So the dean asked me, can you do one more workshop? I did one more workshop in 1993. Then I got interested in IPRs, and 1994 I went for an advanced training, which is not a foundation course, 2-week foundation course on IPRs, which was held by WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, in Colombo. That was for entire Asia and the Pacific, all Asian countries and Pacific countries. East, West, North, South Asia, and all Pacific countries. There was a common the same program. So I attended that 2-week program, and after that, my 1-point agenda was to learn as much as possible, and I learned and developed a course on IPR, and developed a course which was passed by IIT Delhi. And in 1998, I started teaching this course. So every institution should develop a course on IPRs. And IPR's course, if it is developed on the pattern of lawyers, then it will not become popular. Nobody will understand it, because lawyers, I will show you a slide that what is the role of a lawyer in this thing, or patent attorney, and what is the role of management or science and technology people, and such people in the patent system. So every institute should have a 1-credit course, or a 2-credit course, or a 3-credit course on IPRs. Now, every institution, or every academic institution should develop their own IPR policy. IIT Delhi was first, after 1993 workshop. In 1994, we developed IIT Delhi IPR policy. And that workshop of 1993 was attended by so many deans of all other IITs, and a large number of them became directors of different IITs. So at that time, from IIT Madras, the Dean of Research and Consultancy of IIT Madras came in 1993 workshop, and he happened to come to IIT Delhi a few years later as the director. So they all had undergone this IPR workshop. So we developed IPR policy of IIT Delhi, and all other IITs followed and took our IPR policy as the model policy. Now all states have been developing and all that. The IP generation, R&D, patents, designs, papers, IP generated, then IP protection, applications and filing. So there should be a system that should facilitate IPR application, drafting and IP filing, maintenance, and all these things. Then IPR grants and the patent grant and design registration or other registration, etc. So there should be a system that share of internal funding and share of sponsors funding. If there is any research project, how much should be the internal funding, how much should be the sponsors funding, and who should own the IP? That is creation and sending of the IPR cells in academic institutions. So we should have an IPR cell, which most of the state governments are going for the government universities. The top private universities already have IPR cell, and the medium type of private universities don't have IPR cells, but they are trying to create IPR cells. Then the national and state level award should be there for academia, those who are filing good patent applications, which are commercializing their patents, and so on. The use of IPR information in deciding research themes, this is very important. When particularly the science and technology people, when they decide the PhD topic or any research project, they propose any research project, they should get the IPR information from the patent search. Again, the patent search is that tomorrow you will have a very good session on patent search. Then collaborative research with the industry. They should, academia should engage, because academic topics for PhD are by and large not yielding to any commercially worthy research. Rarely it leads to any commercially worthy research. Otherwise, they are for publishing research papers with changing of some parameters here and there, and coming out some findings and then publishing those papers. So collaborative research with the industry will enable the academia for doing more practical, usable, commercially worthy research. And as I told you, over 400 crore rupees per year is the royalty fee. So even if suppose a royalty fee is there, several hundred crore rupees, any IIT or any academic institution will not require any funds whatsoever from the government system or the taxpayers collection of taxes by the Ministry of Finance. So we will not require any funds if we have a good collaborative research. Then for transfer of technology, negotiation, licensing, there should be a good system which doesn't exist at present in most of the academic technical institutions in the country. The IP conversion ratio, that what percentage of intellectual property is monetized as percentage of IP protected. What happens that when we say IP, it is largely refers to patents. So in academia, when a person normally, when a person says, I have 5 patents, that means he has filed 5 patent applications. If you ask a cross question, in your 5 patents, how many are granted patents? Say 1 patent granted, others we did not pursue. So when they speak, they talk of the patent applications filed by them, not patents granted. So I'm not getting into more details of this, but so I'm leaving it at that the IP monetized as percentage of IP protected should be high. Revenue generation through transfer of technology. TOT is transfer of technology. The transfer of technology and licensing versus expenditure on IPR protection and maintenance. There was a program on in Mexico about 14 years back, in which I represented India. So there were a few more people came from MIT. One was from Stanford, and another was from I think California University, and a few from a few other countries, and rest were all Mexican R&D and these people. So 4 or 5 people from some other countries. So there the lady who was heading the IP department there, she said that we are generating enough revenue through technology transfer that we are able to pay all for patent filing, patent maintenance, and salaries of all the people, about 8-9 people who are working in the patent department. Their dollar salaries all are met with the uh, uh, revenue received through technology transfer or transfer of technology. Stanford has almost equal, but in MIT they still generate surplus, and they surplus they allocate between the inventors, the professors and the research scholars, or other BTech students, whatever it is. Then the concept of portfolio IPR portfolio management, that is also very important. And after the slide, we'll have a few minutes break. Incentive to scientists, faculty, and students. Significant weightage to IP creation in promotion or elevation, because in IITs there is no concept of promotion. Okay, whereas in other engineering colleges there is concept of, other institutions, universities, there is a concept of promotion. But in IITs, every position is an open position. Associate professor, assistant professor does not become associate professor by promotion, or associate professor does not become professor by promotion. They compete as an independent candidate, one of the candidates. If they get selected, as if they are found better than others, they get selected. If they get selected, they are getting a higher position, and that we call elevation. It is not promotion, it is elevation. So there should be enough weightage for patents, not only patent filing, but patent granted. And not only patent granted, but commercialized patents. That would be the ultimate thing which we should focus for in academia. If you have commercialized patents, then the next question will be how much commercial worthy. If any commercialization leads to 100 crore rupees worth of revenue to any IIT or engineering college, or maybe any university, maybe it is Bennett University or Shiv Nadar University or any other university, 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore, 1000 crore rupees, don't you think their all revenue needs will be met easily? So then there should be a share of earnings from monetization of IPR. Then award should be at the institution level, at the state level, at the national level, and there should be advanced international training. The people who are doing it, they should be sent for advanced international training for a better exposure, maybe to MIT or such places. And I think after the other IPRs, let me have a few minutes break. And I'm available here, few minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes. If anybody has got any question, Dr. Vinita, you can ask me the question. Then I'll come to the other. Yeah.
I think, sir, as specific, there is a lot of thanks coming up and so much of information. More than questions, there are a lot of thanks coming up. They're really thrilled, it seems. And there was one question on process. Can we patent process?
Yeah.
You have already answered. You've already answered in your slides.
I will elaborate it. That person should not go for a cup of tea. Okay.
Right.
The person who asked the question should listen to the answer carefully.
Okay, let me find out who has answered it.
Ask him to be there.
Okay. Just a minute, sir.
Got a response saying that here.
Yes, Madhvi?
Got a response that they are here, they're listening to the answer.
Okay.
So, see, you can invent a product or you can invent a process. You invent a sharpener for the first time. A sharpener was invented. First time the sharpener was invented. First time shoe was invented. How the shoe was invented? That was the time when kings used to be there, and when a king is going out anywhere, on the way a red carpet would be rolled out. So there is a lot of dust and all that. Hundreds of people, several hundred people are there to roll the carpet, and again, because wherever the king goes, he should have a smooth walk. So then somebody thought, okay, if some kind of a carpet can be put across the feet of the Raja king, then we don't have to roll out the carpet. Let the carpet be there and let him, we tie the carpet, a small piece of carpet, and near his shoes, in the feet, around the feet. So that is how the shoes were invented. So any product can be invented. But suppose the two metals are there, the thing, and you have to put them together. You have to, what do? Welding. So welding is a process. Welding is not a product. So earlier it was a, gas welding. I don't remember gas welding came first or the electric welding, which was the first invention. So first was suppose gas first. Suppose there was electrical welding was the first, then gas welding. So these are the processes. So you can have process. Other thing is for chemicals and pharmaceuticals, you can have a product patent as well as a process patent. You invent a molecule, because when we say drug discovery and all that, it comes in the form of molecule, and the molecule is converted into a medicinal format in terms of powder, which is put in the capsule, or with the base in the form of a tablet, or in the form of a powder which put some distilled water, shake it and all that, then make it in the injection form. So it can have a product in the form of molecule and also a process. And in India, we stopped product patent for pharmaceuticals in 1970 and reintroduced it in 2005. I'll talk about this thing when we talk about TRIPS agreement and certain things on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I think Tuesday also or Monday.
Sir, Tuesday है ना 12th.
हाँ, Monday Tuesday को मेरा है 12th को, तो it is Monday.
Sir, excuse me, sir. There is one question. Suppose there is an innovative customer service process.
Yes.
Suppose
you will not get a patent for it.
Without any product, can it be patented?
No. In Indian law does not give patent for such innovative management processes. Okay. Even in other countries, if it is a management process which has a computer control, then it is possible to get the patent.
European countries.
Yeah. But normal, you don't get the patent for this. Any other question in all this past 1 hour? I think almost 1 hour or how much?
Maybe you were so clear they don't have question. Everything was so simple and basic level explained.
See, the thing is that
Doctor,
I'll tell you.
Yes, Madhvi.
To all the people, all the people who are listening.
Kumar Abhishek is asking for a book that he can read on to get much more idea on this topic.
Okay.
I can tell you that I am only a few days back, which I had been having in mind for past 10 years, 15 years, or maybe even more. But a few days back, I decided in this COVID time, all our visits outside and meetings, everything is done on Zoom. I am saving a lot of time. All the meetings, suppose this had been in this university, so 2 hours to reach Shivnadri University, 2 hours coming back, half an hour going early, and all that. So 1 day would have been spent. So nowadays everything is on the online. So a few days back I thought, let me complete my which had been long time pending, one of the agenda of my life, to write a book in a simple manner so that everybody can understand, any beginner can understand. Then in your respective area, somebody in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, textile technology, civil engineering, and physics, chemistry, anything, pharmaceutical, you go for your own area, but a basic book which explains all the concepts in a very clear manner should be available to all the people. So, how long I can
share? Sir, we can share. One book is there from IMMA. I have been using it for the UG students. I think that I can share. I don't remember the name. Yeah.
Very good.
So there is one more question. If a team working in India for a US-based MNC has innovated a product, will it be patented in India or US?
Either way.
Yeah.
If it is an incorporated company in India, a fully owned subsidiary of say IBM or any such company, a fully owned subsidiary, then they can file a patent in India, or their parent company can file a patent in USA. Their choice.
Okay.
But
Any more questions? Please come up.
Similarly, if it is an Indian company, not a foreign company, but if it is an Indian company and you want to file a patent abroad, you have to first file a patent in India, and then you file a patent abroad after taking permission from the patent office, Indian patent office.
Okay, colleagues, if you have some more questions, please come up. Do you have any basic doubt, or else only thanks is coming?
So in next 10 minutes, I'll cover other IPRs very briefly, because you have got a session on design, you have got a session on trademark, you have a session on copyright, you have a session on geographical indication and trademark together. And the plant varieties is not, we are not agriculture scientists here. I'll very quickly come and then come to a few other important aspects. Okay?
Okay.
Another 10 minutes, then I'll leave it for the question.
Yeah.
So, industrial design is the way a product looks, how it appeals to your eyes. Earlier, the telephone, you can see the shape of the telephone, but nowadays the telephones are of different shapes. The wall clock can be a, octagonal, hexagonal. It can be circular, it can be oval shape, it can be rectangular. All types of wall clocks are there. Inside the machine is the same, it is a design. Because you like some other design, somebody else likes some other design. So it gives a more variety to the users. Same pen holder, mugs, etc. Trademark is for, you write TM over the trademark, or once a trademark you apply, you write TM, and once it is registered, you write R on this, on the trademark. So trademark, I think I'll skip this thing because I just realized it is not 4:30 but 4 o'clock. These are the kinds of trademarks, but you have a full session on it. So why trademarks, some examples, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Kenley. These are the conditions of trademark. I'm not. These are the copyrights. Copyright can be on literary work, films, dramatics, artistic work like, painting, sound recording. Again, there is a copyright thing. I will not go. Geographical indication will be covered along with the IPR. The geographical indication. This is the Darjeeling tea's geographical indication with this picture. So geographical indication at the bottom, the Geographical Indication Act. In geographical indication in India, GI Act 1999 came up, and then you can have these are the plant varieties. It is based on the UPO, Union International pour la protection de obtentions végétales. The English version of this is the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants. But this is in the French, so UPOV, UPO. UPO is the way. So UPO is the terminology which is known in all languages. We say UPO. So UPO's eligibility requirement for protection is that it should be, the requirement for protection is new. Whatever the seeds you produce should be new. They should be useful. They should be distinct variety, and they should be stable varieties. The stable variety means that the seeds which are sown and the grow, and again the seeds are there, they should continue to have the same kind of use. They should not deteriorate in their quality. Then you get the protection for it. And now, why it is important to protect new plant varieties? Now, very briefly, I'll tell you about the traditional knowledge, because that is not being covered in any of the next 3-4 day sessions. So traditional knowledge is denoted by TK, means group oriented and tradition based past, present and future manifestations of groups or individuals of their social and cultural identity. It encompasses cultural, intellectual, religious, and spiritual properties. Now, the problem is that non-availability of traditional knowledge abroad. That means whichever country's traditional knowledge is there will be in that country's local language. In case of India, we don't have one language in India. So our traditional knowledge, some traditional knowledge in Tamil language, some traditional knowledge is in Malayalam language, some traditional knowledge in Telugu, some traditional knowledge in Kannada, some traditional knowledge in Bengali, some traditional knowledge Assamese language, some traditional knowledge Punjabi language, some traditional knowledge in some other languages. So many languages are there in India. So that knowledge is not available to other countries or other countries' patent offices. And therefore, unknowingly patents may be filed and patents may be granted to the patent applicant due to ignorance. So there is a famous turmeric or haldi patent case, which is very important, which I would like to share with you. Single herb for known use. The use of turmeric in wound healing. On this, the patent was applied by two persons, Suman K. Das and Harihar P. Kohli. And this is the US patent number. It was applied on 28th March 1995. The claim was use of turmeric at the site of an injury by topical application and or oral intake of turmeric will promote healing of wounds. And this knowledge, which is claimed here, this knowledge is a household knowledge in the country. In India, practically every household, this is a very common knowledge. But in America, this knowledge was not there. And the American patent examiner, he went through the documents. He did not find any such thing. So he thought it is an invention. He granted a patent. So this is the US patent for turmeric use. The US patent number this, to Das et al. Harihar Das was the person, Kohli, etc. So this is the patent given. So then the patent was granted. Now, the patent granted in 1996 by the US Patent and Trademark Office. US Patent Office, USPTO, United States Patent and Trademark Office, on a method of promoting healing of wounds by administering effective amounts of turmeric powder. The case was contested by India. When American granted patents were seen by the Indian Patent Office people, they first have a good laugh at it. See, US, they have patented the turmeric, the wound healing property of turmeric as a patent. What foolish. And they said that they're Americans. So Indian Patent Office wrote a letter. So the American Patent Office said, okay, you give the evidence that it is a household knowledge, it is nothing inventive in this. So something which is a household knowledge, the Patent Office found it difficult to produce such evidence. So this task was given to CSIR. So CSIR, at that time, Dr. Mashelkar was the Director General of CSIR. So CSIR went through the whole system. They said, it is a household knowledge, but there is no clear-cut evidence. So it took a couple of years for India to produce the evidence of this being a common knowledge. So after India producing the details of the evidence, on re-examination, USPTO came to the conclusion that it was not a patentable invention, therefore cancelled the patent. I'll tell you. This was the prior art of turmeric in Urdu. It is 1879. This was the document which was discovered in India, which was produced to the USPTO in support of that. It is a very traditional knowledge known everywhere in India. 1879, and the English translation is taken directly as blood purifier, cures jaundice, locally applied, anti-inflammatory, best tonic for eyesight, wound healing, wound infections, and this is Urdu 1879 by Maulvi Noor Kareem. So with this reference, the patent was, cancelled. But subsequent to that, Indian Initiative of Traditional Knowledge was taken. The government of India set up a task force, and task force gave the report. And based on the report in 2001 budget, the finance minister announced 80 crore rupees funding for creating traditional knowledge digital library, TKDL. So databases in 40 languages, including all Indian national languages, and digitizing images of 20,441 shlokas identified from Ayurvedic text in different languages, Ayurvedic information from 35,000 shlokas, percent prose and formulations transcribed into about 4 pages, TK resource classification, translation in Hindi, Spanish, German, French, Japanese, and some other languages was completed. The interdisciplinary team of 28 Ayurveda experts from entire country, 2 patent examiners, 5 IT experts, 4 NASCOM scientists, and 4 technical officers. They created TKDL website of 1,40,000 pages. So this is the concept of TKDL. Now it is available. You can have an access to TKDL library. And anywhere in the world, if there is any thing like this which has got something to do with the traditional knowledge, they all can refer to TKDL of India. It is very well known worldwide. These are some of the TTs. The IP, TTs and convention, there are 3 categories: intellectual property protection, country-wise, then global protection system. You have one application as a protection in the whole world, and the whole world means those who agree to, who are signatories to the treaty. And then third is classification. These are administered by WIPO. All international treaties are administered by World Intellectual Property Organization. The Bond Convention for Copyright, 176 member countries. Madrid Agreement for Indigenous Sources, 36. Nairobi Treaty, 52. Paris Convention for Industrial Property. Industrial property includes patent and design and trademark. So all the industries use patents, designs, and trademark. So Paris Convention, 177 members, and like that. Then global protection, Budapest Treaty, Hague Agreement, Lisbon Agreement. These are all different number of countries. Then the Locarno, these are the classification treaties, and they are example of patent infringement. Alpine, Alpine, like this is the Perfetti का ये जो आता है, this Perfetti is not toffee. It is this is the kind of a chocolate. Let me put it this way.
It's a kind of confectionery from Nestle.
हाँ. So this is अपने लिए, writing in the same manner, and this is produced by one company, Aman Food Products Private Limited. So the this is the kind of thing which had been there in the past, and the company goes for the trademark violation or trademark infringement. So such cases were fought in the court of law by the attorneys, and that is how traditionally only the lawyers or the attorneys were there in the field of IP. But now there is so much of change. Let me now conclude. We are in the era of knowledge economy. Knowledge management is the key to success. Information on patents can be used to meet the challenge of growing competition. Our industry needs to become IPR savvy. We can meet the challenge of growing competition in the WTO era through knowledge of patents and other IPRs. Basic knowledge of IPRs is essential for engineers, scientists, managers, and all faculty members across all disciplines. With this thing, I would say that speed of R&D, patenting, and commercialization of patents are the keys to success. And with this, I would like to say thank you. And whatever the time, I'm available to you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, anytime when the questions are there.
Thank you, sir.